Part 2 of the reading for Hey Sis. God is a jealous God. He wants our devotion, and we should rely on Him for our needs. God alone should be our foundation. In the past, my misinformed self made the concept of a husband a foundation for my life. Finding a husband, getting married, staying married, and keeping my husband happy were my core motivation factors when making all decisions in my life, until I realized that this is not what God ordained. I was praying for God to bless something that was an abomination. The fact is that no one wants to admit that their relationship is an abomination. Women will cover for their husbands for decades, minimizing the egregious acts. Just for the record, let's list some things that bring a relationship into the gray area: verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, serial affairs, drug addiction, gambling, alcoholism, sexual misconduct, exploiting a partner sexually, sharing the marital bed, incest, sabotage of your career, threats of murder, threats of suicide, stealing, excessive need of control, spying, invasion of privacy, neglect of the home, neglect of the children, destroying your property, using the judicial system to punish you, keeping your children away from you, taking your personal documents such as passports, etc., lying, abandonment, threats of ending marriage, threats to take the children away, damaging your property, sabotaging your reputation, restricting your family from seeing you, restricting your wardrobe, confinement. Women of God can find themselves torn because of their belief in protecting the family unit, their inclination to forgive, and their ability to see the good in others. But we must be able to discern when something is not of God. When my marriage wasn't working out, I wanted God to give me what I wanted. I wanted God to make him pleased with me. I wanted God to stop the trouble. I wanted God to discipline him and make him treat me with more compassion. I was crying to God to fix something that I did not invite him to be a part of from its inception. The nerve of me, right? But this is how many of us in tumultuous relationships pray. We want God to fix what he did not ordain or orchestrate. We want God to put his seal on something we push to make happen without caring if it was God sent or if it was what God wanted. We as Christian women, even those who are currently backsliding, select men who are not of God. We put ourselves in these life situations with men who have no intention of submitting to God's rule. The concept of husband and marriage had become my God. How do you know if something is your God? If all of your energy, thoughts, and resources go into keeping a person pleased, they are your God. If a person in your life expects this level of worship and attention, that person cannot be living in the spirit of God. I used to think that to be a complete person, I had to have my education, nice job, husband, house, car, and children. On my list of accomplishments, husband was clearly a goal to be achieved. I felt incomplete, and nothing else that I did would be completed if this box was not ticked. I had a list of physical attributes, academic, even social skills that this husband would have, but that list was proof of how misguided I was. There was no God on my list of what it meant to be complete, a complete successful person. Sometimes we get so content with the blessing that God has given us that we forget that it is by God's grace that we stand. I am thankful that life pulled the rug from under my feet and I fell flat on my face. Because of that, I was able to rebuild my concept of what mattered and who I should depend on.